riding on the ghost train. Yeah, she keeps on riding.
You had said that your songwriting is something that you were constantly trying to do through most of your life, but you did it badly. Take me to the place and the time that your bad songwriting turned into this incredible debut album.
Memphis, that's the place.
Then I'm walking in Memphis.
You took a couple of years off, and I'm really intrigued by the two gaps of your career. The first one was 1993 to 1998.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Oh boy, well now we're getting into the depths of it all.
Have you talked about those 5 years? Because I really don't see.
You're one of the first people to really ask, and I'm trying to decide if I want to really answer.
If you measure the quality of music by heartache and hope, then this artist's work is off the charts.
I'm writing these songs with all my heart to kind of express something, and yet you don't feel that there's that redemption as a result of it.
Hi, and welcome to the tour. I'm your host, Ted Canova. Alejandro Escovedo is cool. Lou Reed cool.
I lived in the Chelsea Walls on 7th and 23rd.
When you're in that room writing these personal odes, do you feel like you have a burning desire to get something off your chest?
You do it to definitely empty yourself. I remember I had a therapist once who took me aside. He says, I want to take you by the lapels and just hold you up against the wall and shake you. I said, what do you mean? He goes, why do you lie? I said, I don't lie. He goes, why do you lie? I said, well, I am a songwriter after all. You know, and he didn't laugh. He goes, why do you lie? And then I said, well, I never really want to hurt anybody's feelings. And he says, you know, by telling the truth, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. He also said, and I'm telling you way too much, but he also said that that's what began my relationship with women and why I equate women with pain. And I don't find that anymore, but I did.
You've had a remarkable growth spurt, Alejandro.
It's happened so fast, and we're all just processing these emotions on both sides.
Hi, and welcome back to the Front Porch Movement, a podcast devoted to civic engagement. And boy, if there was ever a time for people to be talking, it's now. I'm your host, Ted Canova. We all thought Election Day would be a culmination of a vicious political year. Now we're consumed by the results, and every day there's more to fight about. On the night after the election, an interfaith healing service was held in Brooklyn, New York. One by one, people touched the microphone and reached into their hearts. Among them, a young woman named Karen, who's a first-generation Mexican-American. When you saw the returns coming and you saw that map, it looks so different than it did 4 years and 8 years ago. Can you explain what that did to you?
When I watched as the states turned red, it was just like, I thought blood. I felt like I was watching America bleed.
The 5 most disturbing and concerning words that I hear over and over again. I want my country back. Your country? And from who? From me? You want your country back from me? It's my country too.
This divide is something Ray Suarez has covered during his career with NPR, PBS, and Al Jazeera America. But it's more striking than ever. So I was curious how he sees the changes the country is going through and yet to go through. We sat down for a candid conversation on a sunny day just a few blocks from where he grew up in Brooklyn. The neighborhood, just like America, is changing before our eyes. New immigrants pass by, new glass skyscrapers growing above, and historic brownstones trying to keep a place we remember. Ray Suarez, you're in big demand these days. A veteran.
Not enough demand. Not enough demand.
Well, we're going to get you that job, I promise. You know, in the media, we used to ask the public to be good news consumers, for them to go out and seek the truth.
I think we're asking a lot of a public to enter a more crowded, confused information marketplace and just blithely say, oh, sort it out for yourselves.
Said my baby's coming home tomorrow.
I beat myself up for a long time for having taken that back seat kind of stance and stood behind all of it and watched it. But you know, now that I'm older, I recognize I needed a decade of sitting in my living room and listening over and over and over again to the songs that were compelling me at the time.
Just don't know which way to go.
So your first solo gig in that place in Albany, New York with 15 or 20 people?
You've really done your research, yes.
I thought I might die. I haven't been so nervous. It was absolutely, totally terrifying, as if I had never done it before.
Oh yeah. I sat on a stool. I couldn't have stood up and sang a song if you had paid me. Yeah, it was scary.
Come rescue me. I'm falling fast and free.
They may be the forgotten heroes of rock and roll, but the Moody Blues have been fine traveling their own road.
Do you know what was important? Us going in the studio and recording our music. That's all we ever wanted to do. Having that album that you could say, yes, we've made this. This is ours. It can never be taken away.
What makes the Moody Blues truly amazing is how they invented music. As a kid himself, the Moody's bass player John Lodge grew up in Birmingham, England, known as the Second Detroit, and was destined to be a car designer until he heard a different drive, the driving force of a bass guitar. John, you were fascinated early on by two American mainstays, cars and rock and roll. And here in America, those two things go together.
I was fascinated by cars from when I was about 7 years of age. In the 50s, American cars just actually blew my mind. And I just used to draw cars all the while. Picked up a guitar one day. The song seemed to write itself in about 5 minutes.
John, for all the musicians who lose sleep over writing, it seems like this has come pretty easy to you.
Well, there's a lot that doesn't come easy.
Please share all.
I've got tapes at home which never ever going to see the daylight.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame finally nominated the Moody Blues after all of these years. There was a post in The Guardian that called the Moody Blues the forgotten heroes, that despite your success, rock critics barely took the Moody Blues seriously, a pattern that continued for the next 45 years. I know you don't look at these laurels as important, but when you hear a quote from somebody who writes about you barely being noticed, that's gotta hurt a little bit.
No, it doesn't really. Because as I said earlier, I want to play my bass, write my song, sing my song. And if an audience turns up, 10 people, 20 people, 1,000, 10,000, whatever, that's where it's at.
Fans are voting online, and let me show you what the current standings are.
That is amazing.
You're second to Bon Jovi with almost 500,000 votes.
That's unbelievable. I have never ever seen that.
Well, 2 of the votes are from me, by the way.
Oh, well, that's fun. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is incredible.
John Lodge, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.